I wanted to give you a little update and about the past Tea Party Festival, and then also about the future. We actually did remarkably well this past year. You know, I don't know the weather. Let's put it that way. So we are actually we got some extra funds, which was nice because we got to give some donations to like Echo Hill and the Sultana, and other years we couldn't do that. Because we need to keep some money so that we can actually, like, you know, pay our insurance and all that kind of fun stuff. So, and therefore we had money to apply for a grant from the Chesapeake Heritage Foundation Stories of the Chesapeake, which you guys very kindly wrote a letter of support for, because that requires a cash match, and in the past we haven't had those funds. So that is all very good and positive news. So now for the bad news, and that is that we are down to the wire in terms of people actually organizing this festival, and we have been so for the past several years. Just nobody has ever had the guts to say, "Whoops, we are in trouble." We are in trouble. And Françoise can attest to this because virtually every email that comes through the website that should go to various people, you know, PR, info, it all goes to me because there's just nobody left. And so, very, very simply put, even last year, there would not have been a Tea Party Festival if I hadn't said, okay, sure, I'll be the president of the board. And so we have about 5 people who run themselves ragged. It's just not.
The whole board has 5 people? A total of 5 people?
There's some additional people, but the people who really, you know, carry the load, yeah, that's about 5, 6 people. And those 5, 6 people don't only do all the prep work, but they are also the people who will take off several days of work before the festival starts, who are, you know, schlepping around stages and barrels and God knows whatever, and, you know, they're there until like 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday after the block party, back on the grounds at 5:30 to help the merchants set up, still cleaning up at 7 p.m. on Saturday night from everything, and then are in Wilmore Park the next day at around 8. And that's a battle, trust me. That is, you know, and we're not all that young, so you know, we're the ones actually carrying all the tables and everything. So this is. Yeah, this is a problem. So we've sort of for the past several years there has always been this comment, oh, we pulled it off again. Yeah, we did pull it off again, but you know, at what cost? So there's no one, for instance, we can send out letters to the craft vendors, those we know, to get them to you know, for the next year. But there's no one who actually goes out and actively looks for new craft vendors. So obviously that becomes a very dwindling pool then. And the same goes for the parade. Mark Mumford for years and years and years has been wanting to hand this off to somebody. We try, and then, you know, eventually it's Mark again who puts this parade together. And he does a fabulous job, but he also doesn't have time to like encourage people to be, you know, be part of the parade, to look for new entries, even if they were paid entries. So it just, you know, it goes downhill. And I was actually looking at the people who are on the board. Last year we actually had 2 people who didn't even live in Kent County who were on the board. And this year we finally have somebody who actually lives within town limits, but everybody else who helps organize this festival doesn't even live within Chestertown town limits. So, and a lot of people will say, well, it is because everybody is so busy and nobody has time to volunteer. And, you know, to an extent that is true. Then on the other hand, if you see how Harry Potter Festival goes, or how other things go, there are people out there who would want to volunteer. It's just that perhaps, sadly, they don't want to volunteer to pull up the Chestertown Tea Party Festival. And so I wrote up this letter and I sent it to all the organizations who actually majorly profit from this festival, because it is not just a, hey, let's come to Chestertown kind of thing, you know, let's put us out there, you know, let's have other people on the other side of the bridge know about the Tea Party Festival. It's also a gigantic fundraiser for our community. I mean, I'd like to think that our local merchants, hotels, restaurants, and so forth, you know, get a profit too from this weekend. But there's always a whole bunch of nonprofits that participate. I think last year was about 26. And so they raised a combined little over $80,000 this year. It has been well over $100,000, but that's a lot of money. So I sent out this letter to all these nonprofits who do, you know, get a lot of money during this festival. And I got a total of 3 responses. One person who would like to help, the Rotary who said, well, you know, we can't let this go away, we need to do something, we'll reach out to some people. And the Christ United Methodist Church who said, we'd like to help, but we're all very old, so we're not really sure what we can do. So I suggested they actually organize the parade as a church. So it's an issue. And so I sent this out to the nonprofits, and before I was actually going to send this out as a press release, I figured it was only proper to let you know rather than read this in the newspaper. So we recently have had the person who is in charge of the merchants. She has elderly parents that she needs to take care of, so she can't do this anymore. And you know, that is where we make our, well, we don't make any money, but that's where our funds come from to actually be able to finance this thing. So we're now at the point, yes, we have asked for this grant. We need to send out our letter for the merchants to register for next year. And, you know, what do? Do we with 5 people send out this letter? Because if we don't, you know, we're dead, period. Or do we, and then still have nobody to pull off this festival?
What would be a good number to have that would make it easier on you? 15 to 20 people?
Well, see, that's what we actually had to adjust our bylaws, because originally the bylaws said that there had to be 15 people on board with a maximum of like 20 or 25. Well, as long as I've been part of the board, there have been 15 people on the board. We didn't even meet our quorum anymore. So we had to change our bylaws, and we actually had to call people and say, please come, or, you know, be on the phone, so that we can actually legally change our bylaws, because we couldn't even vote on our budget anymore. If we had 10, 12 people who really did something, and then a small army of people during the day itself, you know, it's not just the 10 people, the so many people who make this happen throughout the year, but if those same 10 people didn't then have to also be the ones who just run themselves ragged for 3 days, you know.
And it's service hours too. We've always tried to get the high school kids to come because it's a nonprofit and you get your community service hours.
Don't show up.
And they don't show up.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, you know, people say, well, why don't you get the football team or something or other? Yeah, and then I'll stand there and the football team will be like secure. So we have paid security, right? Because I could say, okay, well, we get the high school kids to do X, Y, and Z. God forbid they don't show up, and then, whoops, you know, who the heck is going to do that on the morning of? So, you know, I mean, when you get that many people coming, you need to be sure that those who need to do something actually show up and are able